Hello, everybody, and welcome to
Elder,
What's Up, Taylor? Yo, you ready?
are you ready? How you feeling?
Yo, I'm feeling good. I'm excited for this healing to begin. I'm so excited to have everybody here. Y'all, so now that y'all here, I'm so excited to have everybody. My name is Young Elder. I will be one of your co-hosts for today. And man, welcome to the Healing City Summit. Let's get it started.
Hey everyone, my name is Taylor Clinton. I am a senior at the Youth Opportunity Academy. I am 19 years old. I'm your host for today. Let us know in the chat who you are, where you're coming from, and we have so much in store for you all today. I'll let Elder share what the summit is about. I'm so excited to be here with everyone.
Awesome, y'all. I see y'all turning up in the comments. Make sure that y'all stay active throughout the comments the whole day so that we can see what y'all have to say. So, like Taylor said, she's the co host, I'm the other host. So, let's get it started. So, basically, the Healing City Summit is a chance for you guys to talk about mental health and heal from trauma. But not only that, it's a chance for you guys to learn how your experiences can impact you and how to heal from trauma. Because you can heal from trauma in so many different ways. Spoken word, writing, music, doesn't matter. Whatever you feel like is right, that's how you can heal from trauma. And I really hope that you guys can connect with what you hear from the day. But before we get started, I'm honored to share that we have a message from our mayor, Brandon Scott.
Good morning, everyone. It's Mayor Brandon Scott, and I'm excited to be joining you for the first annual Healing City Summit. I'm honored to be supporting this amazing event, co-founded by my good friend Councilman Cohen, Sean Brasecca, and Dr. Melissa Buckley. As we all know, COVID-19 and this pandemic has highlighted the history of social and economic disparities that existed in our country and Baltimore for centuries. We know that now more than ever, programs like Healing City Baltimore are necessary for the health and wellness of our residents. I am filled with joy to see our students and young people involved with organizing this wonderful summit. This summit is about making sure every resident in our city is taken care of and that no one is left behind. The summit's goal of building community, reducing trauma, and destigmatizing conversations around mental health are issues I hold close to my heart. Today's sessions, panels, and programs that discuss persistence, self care, harm reduction, and more is an incredible effort to support our communities in Baltimore and beyond. Thank you again, Healing City Baltimore, Healing Youth Alliance, and Heart Smiles for doing this incredible work to heal and mend our city. I'm excited for all of us to heal Baltimore together.
All right,
Thank
cool.
you so much, Mayor Scott. We are grateful to have you recognize that healing is so important for the youth of our city. Thank you so much for that message. Now we'll hear from our very own Councilman Zeke Cohen, who sponsored the Elijah Cummings Healing City Act with youth from Frederick Douglass.
Hey, good morning. And thank you to Taylor and Elder for your outstanding work moderating this discussion. It is so good to be with you, to see all these young people in the chat. And look, my message this morning is that Baltimore's young people are amazing. You all may not know this, but just yesterday, children in our city managed to get Comcast, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, to double their internet essential speeds. Young people, city council members, community had been organizing and pushing because we know that internet essentials, which so many of us use, is too slow for young people to learn, is too slow for adults to work on, for people to go get their telemedicine checkups. And so youth in Baltimore said very clearly to Comcast that they needed to double their speeds. And guess what? Yesterday, Comcast agreed to do that. So now across the entire United States, Comcast has doubled their internet essential speeds. And that is a win that belongs to the young people of Baltimore City. And look, we wouldn't be here in this room without the youth of Baltimore, because they called on us, the city council, to come up with a law to deal with the trauma in our city. I'll never forget, after a school shooting at Frederick Douglass High School, where 3 seniors from Frederick Douglass came to us and said, look, you all are far too focused on policing us, and you're not focused enough on preventing violence and harm and trauma. And they laid out very clearly what we needed to do in order to change and impact our city. We followed their lead. I spent about a year with those young people listening in libraries, in rec centers, in classrooms, all across Baltimore to try to understand what would be the best legislation for our city. And what we came up with was the Elijah Cummings Healing City Act. This bill that we passed is the first in the country to comprehensively legislate, to make a law about trauma-informed care, because we believe that it has to start with us in city government, that we have to stop traumatizing our communities, that we need a police force and a school system and a rec and park department that is healing centered. And so we passed that law with support from the young people of our city. But what's been great is that it created a whole movement around healing from trauma. And that's what brings us here today. This Healing City Summit is the first of its kind. We are so thrilled about Taylor, Elder, and all of the young people who are leading it. This day was entirely designed by Baltimore's youth. So if anyone ever doubts the capacity or the capability of young people, children, teenagers in our city, tell them what you saw here today. I am thrilled to get to be in this summit with you, and I'm going to turn it back to our hosts. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much, Councilman Cohen. Like, it really means a lot to have people who are in positions of power to help us make things like this possible. Yes, the youth are powerful. Yes, we can make things happen, but we really need support from adults. So any support from any adults that are watching this right now, it's your responsibility. If you see the youth trying to do something, we need you to step in, because if we work together, we can make this happen. And we're really trying to heal Baltimore. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Councilman Cohen. So now we're going to have a conversation with some of our ambassadors. They're going to be having a conversation about how to respect them, honor their boundaries, and open up productive lines of communication. So without further ado, I'm going to be introducing the moderator of this panel, Miss Erica Alston Buck. Okay, so hi, Miss Erica.
Hey, Elder, you guys are doing such an amazing job. And if you didn't see my comment in the chat, like after the audio problem and you killed the comeback, you are doing an amazing job. So I'm super excited to be working with you and for you today. So I'm here.
Thank you so much. And of course, we gotta let the show go on. But now I'm honored to introduce the panelists. We have Healing Youth Alliance ambassadors, Lamar Hill, De'Aubrey Lewis, Lene Williams, Camry Moses, and my co-host, Taylor Clinton. Yo, what's up, y'all? Y'all ready to hear this conversation?
Hey.
All right, y'all.
What's up, everybody?
I'm so excited for you guys to just get started and let everybody know what you guys have to say. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Erica so she can take over. And everybody in the chat, make sure you post your questions so that I can elevate them to the panel. And I see you guys after the conversation.
Bye-bye, Elder. Bye-bye, Taylor. Hey, guys. We're back at it. It's finally here, right? So I am not running the conversation. I am simply here to be a part of the conversation so that you guys can help me and the other old people understand how best to communicate with you and respect your boundaries, which is the most important part. So we have a scenario, and Cam, thank you for the scenario. We'll be working through a scenario about encouraging young people when they share with you their ideas, their thoughts, their dreams and their ambitions, and how we as adults and the old folks should respond when young people are open enough, honest enough, and transparent enough to share with us what they want to do when they grow up. So we're going to start with the scenario. Cam, you want to take it away?
Yes, I can start. Hope Lamar and De'Aubrey are ready. But my name is Kanaya. I'm not Camry right now. And I want to be an entrepreneur, Mr. O. What could I do to be a better entrepreneur? What could I do in order to get in the path of entrepreneurship?
Hello everybody. My name is Dr. O. I'm not Lamar right now. Uh, some things you can do is like, just try working harder, just being a better you. Just not letting the things get in between you. Just being a stronger you, just not letting the challenges in your life beat you down and actually letting them build you up.
Hey, my name is Dr. Bray. Some things you could do is first you have to have a game plan, know what you want to do and how you want to start this business and the things that you need. So you have to make a to-do list. Basically, make a list of all the things that you have to do in order to get to those steps. And also note the support that you may need from anybody that will be on your team or around you. So that way you can get your business running up and make sure that it just keep going.
So if I'm hearing you guys correctly, if Kanaya goes to Dr. O and says, I want to start a business, and she's a high school student, she's got really good grades in math, has been excelling in math all of her academic career, shouldn't Dr. O encourage her to be a math teacher?
No. Dr. O should tell her that you can do anything that you have to, no matter what, no matter whatever you do, you got it. Put your mind to it, you got it. All you need is support. You need to have, like I said, your to-do list. Make sure you have your plans, your game plan, all that. That's why we coming to you now so that we are giving some steps for the adults to understand, like to help us push the youth to get to their goals. Not everybody wants to be a teacher. Not everyone wants to be a doctor. Some people want to actually be big bosses, own their own business, and have people working for them and not be working under people.
Well, when I was growing up, I was told that I needed to finish school, get a degree in an industry that was secure, like healthcare, education. So because that's what I was told, I'm most likely going to tell my daughter, if she comes to me talking about being an entrepreneur, that she should probably do something that's more secure, a safe path. Am I wrong?
So yeah, like this whole point of it was, just to show that people that we go to for support, because obviously me as Ben Kanaya going to Dr. O, I obviously have a trust in them to, also like support those dreams that I put out, no matter what it is. Well, not no matter what it is. Don't have them go to like just anything. But if it's something that's going to put me in a better place and allow me to be more happy, more financially free and things of that nature, it should be something that they support instead of belittling that dream or that ideal. Because once that in that person's mind, it's like a great thing. They have great interest in a certain thing. And if that support system doesn't support that ideal, then that person can go and shift to something else that they really don't want to do and kind of conforming to what other people want them to do instead of living for themselves and owning their life.
So what I've learned from this scenario is when young people come to us and share with us their dreams, their goals, and their aspirations, it's our responsibility to support them, to give them resources and information that will guide them to live out their dreams in a better way. We should not be imposing our beliefs and what people told us to do on you. And if we take this approach, you're more likely to come to us with other tough topics and other conversations that may be difficult for parents, teachers, or other trusted adults to have with you. So thank you so much for the scenario. I've learned something. I learned that when my daughter comes to me and says that she wants to be an entrepreneur, that it is my responsibility to make certain that she is the biggest boss that she could possibly be. I appreciate you guys. So with that, we're going to move into a couple of topics, and you guys, like, you're ready to have some candid conversations around some real tough topics. And the old people in the chat box, get ready, because you're going to have some questions and you may want to jump in on this conversation. So the first topic that we had was about sex and birth control. And in our planning, we talked about me being a parent of a 17-year-old. And because I grew up in Baltimore, destined to be a statistic, and things that have happened in my life, I had my first child at 15 years old. So it was very important for me that if I was a mom of a daughter, to make certain that conversations were being had so the same thing wouldn't happen with her. So with my 17-year-old, I told her, if she's thinking about having sex, no questions asked, just let me know so that I could set an appointment for her to begin birth control. No questions asked. If you're thinking about it, let me know. And one day I went into my office and under my keyboard was a note and it said, I'm ready. and no question is asked, we made an appointment. So one thing that's very important that I know as a parent, that when we make promises to our young people, we've got to stick to them. So what are some suggestions that you have about sex, birth control, and how to have those conversations with a trusted adult or parent?
Okay, so first you should build that kind of healthy relationship, especially with your daughters and your sons, so that way they can be free to come to you and talk to you about anything. Just like you said, how your daughter felt comfortable enough to come to you and tell you that she was ready. So things like that, I feel as though you should basically talk to you. It's never no like right time or like right age to tell your kid about sex, because if you don't talk to them about it and they don't learn in the school, they're going to go out and try to experience it on their own. So it's best if you have that conversation with them, tell them everything that's going on, so they don't go out here and try to experience for themselves and something else bad happens and comes out of that situation. So it's best if you talk to them, have that healthy relationship, have that healthy connection, and get everything out on the table right then and there. So that way, when the time is right and they are ready, you actually know how to go about it and they know exactly what to do.
Great response, Deborah. Anybody else?
I will go next. I honestly would say like communication is a big thing, and regardless of like how this is really both for youth and their parents to like get their voices heard and kind of gain an understanding. So I see some people in the chat saying like, why are we talking about this? This is a conversation that needs to be had, and if this may be something that's going on in your head about how to communicate with your parent about it, or your parent wanting to know how you feel about it, this is definitely a great conversation to have. So you would rather have it come from someone that you trust, like a parent, instead of hearing it from outside sources. So you might be feeling peer pressure and things like that from peers about engaging in sex, or things like that, or people not telling you about birth control and things of that nature. But if you're hearing it right from your parent, and they'll provide you that comfort and that privacy, because privacy is a big thing. Like, if I know parents personally don't like tell their kids everything that they do in their personal life, like about like bills and things like that, and we honestly have to have that privacy too. Like, just like we respect your privacy and your boundaries, that's something that we also respect. So it's earn instead of given, and that's how we should view respect.
Great job, Kim. Wonderful response. Anybody else want to talk about this topic? Any suggestions for young people on how to approach their parent?
I can give a few suggestions on how to approach your parent, depending, because a lot of parents are different. A lot of parents, they probably don't believe in you having, sex at a young age or just anything, considering if you're a minor. If you feel as though you don't know how to approach your parent, figure out, how do y'all communicate? What's best? Like, do you write notes? Do you talk? Do you text? Do you call? Figure out, what do you do? Then you want to establish a plan and how you're going to execute that. And then once you do that, try to write it or say it or call or text, or however you do it. Try to do it the best way possible, calmly and respectfully is most important and key. So that way you don't come off as, you're in the wrong. But make sure that you also have the conversation. If you feel as though you can't have the conversation, it's okay to talk to like a very, very trusted adult. Not saying that everybody is good to talk to about sex, because some people will really set you up. Talk to a very trusted adult that you believe is trusted, that you feel as though is trusted the most. And sometimes talking to a doctor is even a great choice if you feel as though you can't talk to your parents, or talking to a school nurse. They do have booklets and they do give advice. So that can be, your first step. And I hope that works.
Great job, guys. Next on deck is curfews.
Oh, Miss
Oh, go
Erica,
on, Kim. Yep.
there's a question in the chat from Antoine Cooper, and I guess this is for all of us. He said, if it's he, I think it's probably he. How do you, as a young person, feel about talking about sex or those thoughts with your teachers or mentors and not your parents first? How do you bridge that gap with all three parties? So yeah, I guess because I'm already off mute. I would say, honestly, that you can have that teacher or that mentor act as a mediator for you. I just yesterday facilitated a session about having difficult conversations and things of that nature. So if you're having trouble with communicating with your parent, let that teacher or that mentor act as a mediator for you and kind of like build an understanding on both sides, because if they're adult, they might have kids as well, so they kind of know from their parent perspective, but they also grasp that understanding from you. So if they both have an understanding on both sides, it could be a thing where that person can be a mediator and it's fair on both sides, and allow them, just let them know that they have to come unbiased and also with that same goal of gaining understanding, because that's why we talk about things. So that's my answer.
Great response, Cam. There's another question from a mom. She says she's the mother of a 19-year-old man. I started very early talking to him about sex, but he would be very uncomfortable and shuts me down. Should I just wait until he's comfortable and comes to me about sex? Lamar, can you help that? Because that's a mom with a son. So I'm
Yeah.
certain that's probably one of the boundaries, one of the obstacles.
Yeah, honestly, I think like for that, that's something that you would like give them the outlet to, like let them know that you can, like they can talk to you about it, but also don't try to force it towards them, because if you try to force it, then they'll feel as though that it's uncomfortable or it's just kind of like an awkward situation and they don't really want to talk about it. But giving them that outlet and showing them that you actually care, regardless of if it's just their sexual health or just as a whole, just showing them that like you actually care about the things that you're talking about and like the conversation that y'all have, and like you're actually engaged and invested, like just showing them those things will make them feel as though like that they actually like can talk to you and it's actually something safe, like that they can trust you.
So Lamar, with a single mom raising a young man, would it be easier for a male to speak to a male? Would you have this conversation with your mom?
Um, Me being personally, because like I had to kind of figure out everything like by myself, and then like I was kind of like I had details filled in like later in life from like my parents and stuff. Overall, like I feel as though now I could have that conversation with my mother, but me being like, if I was thinking of when I was younger, I probably wouldn't have. But that's just like immaturity. But overall, it's like as you grow, you would be able to learn how to talk about these things. But other than that, like yeah, I could see myself having that conversation. I might be a little uncomfortable, but once I start opening up, then it's just kind of like after that, it should be able to like really talk about it.
So I think as we move forward, there are a couple of topics that we had that we could put together, because you guys pretty much have touched on how to open up the lines of communication and some best practices in terms of approaching and our responses. So I know that we had two very good topics. One is this is not your back in the day. So with young people and how it is now and how parents may project on young people how it was for us and keep you locked in that box. So we want to talk about what that means. This is not your back in the day, mom, dad, trusted adult. And also breaking generational curses. And I just want to applaud you guys for even making that one of the topics that we were going to discuss today. So let's talk about this is not your back in the day and breaking generational curses.
So first I would say like you have to kind of build that connection with your parents, and everything takes time. So a relationship is not going to just come up out the blue. So any conversation that you are having with your parents, you have to like, sit down and understand like the way they communicate, the way they take things in and things like that for you to even be able to, communicate things with them. And parents, for if you are like talking to your child or anything like that, or your child is doing something and they not really like, listening, comprehending things, don't keep saying, oh, well, back in my day, we did this and now y'all did this, because that just makes us think, well, I mean, what that got to do with us? We here now, we got this. So I would just say like, this is kind of like different than what you had, because we have these things, and don't make it seem as though like, we kind of like, it makes it seem like we're kind of ungrateful at times, and that kind of also pushes us away, because no child wants to feel ungrateful, especially when they have things and you look at other people and see that they don't have that much. So it's like, if you keep telling us, oh well, back in my day we had this and now y'all got this or this and that, it's just making us feel as though like, are you saying like we're not appreciative of things? And most of the time we tell the parents like, hey, thank you for this, thank you for that, and they still do the same thing. And also you have to understand, as a youth, your parents also face trauma that they might not even talk about. And so the same things that kind of like, you don't know what are their triggers. So some of the things is just like comprehension and understanding of things, and building that healthy communication and building that healthy relationship.
I think for the adults, a lot of times adults think that when we come to them with issues or problems, they say, because we are youth, we don't know what we're talking about, or they're 50 years old and they know they've been through it. But I don't think adults understand that the world is constantly changing. Everything, social media, internet, even going outside and interacting with other youth, everything is changing. So it's definitely still the same concept, but different attitudes and, different perspectives on different things. So I think, like Diabre was saying, have an open line of communication, but also understand that we're not just, youth walking around with no knowledge. We understand everything that's going on. Um, just how you can comprehend, walk into the store, and it can be dangerous and stuff like that. We understand that too. So of course we're going to protect ourselves and, do what we need to stay safe. But we do want to have fun and also want to be able to come to you and let you know the problems that we have without hearing, well, I'm 50 years old, I've been there, done that, you don't know what you're talking about, or back in my day, we used to do this. We kind of get sick of hearing that because it's like, it's 2021, it's a new century. If anything, a lot of adults really don't know what's going on. We do, because we're youth, we interact with each other every day. We're more into technology than you guys are. Sorry to say, but it's true. But yeah, just definitely have an open line of communication, understand where each other is coming from, and look at it from a youth perspective.
Great.
Um, I kind of want to tap on the generational curses part. A lot of times, like adults will have traumas that went unhealed and they haven't acknowledged, and it kind of changes or shifts how they treat their child because of those traumas. Like you may have went through something, and because of that you're more protective of your child, like you shelter them, you put them in a box, but that youth doesn't understand why, like why you're doing it. So I think also not sharing traumas where it's not re-traumatizing to you, but also so that that child can learn from those traumas, because a lot of times it's like you could be confused about things that's going on, why you treat them a certain way, but really it's because you've been through a trauma that you haven't healed. And also asking yourself that question, like, what will allow me to heal, like, and what will allow me to better be a parent to my child? Because at the end of the day, children are your responsibility, and you're supposed to take care of them and make sure that they learn from the lessons that you have had yourself. So speak the unspoken. Like trauma is a thing. Like, and if we've been through COVID all like together, we know that mental health is definitely to the forefront right now. So pay attention to both your child and your mental health, and address those traumas so they aren't repeated and they aren't generational curses, but you're breaking those curses.
That was powerful, Cam. That was so powerful. Like, I have goosebumps. You guys are amazing. If no one has told you today, you guys are amazing. That was such a powerful response. Anybody else want to touch on generational curses or even define it?
I can touch on generational curses just a little bit. Generational curses can also like go into like mental health as well. Like when you have someone in your family that's dealing with something that may trigger it may affect how they live their day-to-day life, that can also affect their children too, because then they're affected on their ways and their teachings, and then that can be soon affected to you. But it's up to you whether you want to take it into full effect and change it. That's up to you if you want to break that cycle. That's up to you if you want to stop it then and there. But I also think that it's a great way to understand now, because we're so young if we're understanding it like now how to break it, I think that's also a great way to break it.
Diabra, you want to touch? Oh, I'm sorry. Go on, Taylor.
Yeah, I also want to say I think that you should just also live by the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. Whether it's your cousin, your mother, your sister, your brother, your daughter, or your son. Just like I said before, understand where they're coming from, understand their perspective, and just hear them out. It's yeah, I think it's just as simple as that. Don't talk to anyone how you want to be talked to, and just kind of remember or go back to a place when you were a child and maybe your mom yelled at you. How did you feel? Did you really like it? How did you respond and stuff like that? And just try to find different ways to communicate and reach out to your child.
Good stuff.
Also, just like Cam was saying about, communicating trauma, sometimes the child has also faced trauma that they might not even talk about, because when they try to come talk to you about it, you yell at them, blow them off, tell them, go get out your face, I'm doing this, and not really give them the time of the day. So it's like you are taking your hurt and putting hurt on them while they are also hurting. And it's like, it's just a whole cycle of hurting. And if you hurt them and they hurting, they're going to go out and hurt their children. So it's like, if we don't break this cycle now of talking and getting everything on the table, talking about trauma, talking about the healing and the things that we have to do, it's like the cycle will continue to go. And then it's going to be a whole family of hurting people. And when will we all learn how to heal? When are we going to learn how to sit down and actually, communicate with our parents, talk to our children, understand what they're going through? Sometimes just asking the child, like, hey, you okay? How was your day? Telling the child that I love you, which we might not even hear a lot coming from a black parents or whatever. And it's just like, just telling the child that, or hugging them at least once a day, smiling at them, something like that, instead of always yelling at them and kicking them to the curb. That also helps. Positivity, that is contagious. That will go a long way. Just a smile will make somebody's day.
Like one thing I need to interject is I know why you guys are Heart Smile ambassadors, because my heart is smiling. Oh my God, you guys are amazing, and I can't say that enough today. We do. We've got interaction in the chat, so I do want to bring to some points that you guys made a couple of comments. One from a 60-year-old. You guys are doing some healing today. There are some people in this chat that have never listened to young people who have a new perspective on communication. So thank you guys for doing an awesome job. So she says she's 60 years old and wants to share that she had to break the cycle of mental health in her family, and her sibling did not. I want to say that my life is so much richer for actively working to break the cycle. I encourage you to consider breaking the cycle in your own families. This is so powerful. She's 60. Y'all high school ambassadors, right? Good job, guys. Was there anything else on the generational curses? Because I do want to touch on some other things that I found very important that you guys wanted to talk about as segue from what we just were in discussion with. Boundaries. And are you protecting us or being overprotective? I think they go together, because under the boundaries topic, I had don't check my phone. I don't check my daughter's phone. As a parent, I think that I have given life lessons. I have given rules. I have set the path, and it's up to me to trust that the information that I've provided for my child is being followed through. So she doesn't have a curfew. She knows that she's out. She can text and say, hey, mom, it's 10. I'm going to hang out till about 11. I'm not saying it's 9 o'clock, be in house on Friday night. Why? To sit home with my old behind and watch TV? I know that she's safe. I know the tools that I've given her, so I trust her. And I don't check her phone. Can we talk about being protective versus overprotective and disrespecting your boundaries and your privacy?
So I would say, as a parent, that's kind of what every child wishes. Like, the parent don't check their phone, the parents don't come in the room, push things over, touching everything. So with the curfew thing, it's like, if you see your child is communicating with you, telling you, hey mom, like, I'm out, I might be a little late, just letting them know that. Don't say, oh well, next time don't ask me to go this place, next time you ain't going, and stuff like that. Or if a child asks you, hey mom, can I go out, I'll be back at this time. That's kind of the youth communicating with you, telling you, hey, like, this is what I want to do, this is my plans, these are my times and things like that, this is what I need. If you keep shutting them down, they're not going to want to go anywhere. especially not with you. So it's like, if you keep shutting them down, they really don't even have a life. And as a youth, that's kind of right now in COVID, that's kind of what everybody wants to do. Just get out a little bit, go outside a little bit, enjoy that time, because we're all like sheltered in right now and shut down. So if you keep shutting them down every time they go out, especially if the child getting good grades, the child don't even disrespect you, they don't do anything like that, why do you keep trying to shut them out and things like that? You keep trying to protect them, but everywhere you go is something bad happening. So you can't really protect them from everything, and you can't really keep protecting them from the world, because no matter what you do, they're always going to find something or do something, and it's going to be so much still going on no matter where you go.
And also do those things that other parents are afraid to do. Like, you might have a circle of other parents, like we got homegirls and things like that, and you might be the same like with your older homegirls, like as far as adults, and you got to be doing the things that they're afraid to do. They might check their children phone, but you got to be like, you got to be that catalyst that say, oh, I'm not going to check my daughter or my son's phone. I'm going to trust that they can do what I taught them to do. And that's something that Miss Erica brought up, having that trust, like already trusting that that youth has been taught enough at you being their parent and you teaching them lessons, and just being that catalyst, like letting them know that they don't have to always like be on their neck. Because like, I know I seen one post one day on Instagram, like where if you kind of like always on your child, they're gonna grow up like resenting you, and you don't want your child to grow up and resent you, and then later on treating you different than they would have treated you if you would have just trusted them from the start.
And can I add on just a little bit? Because I don't think I heard this one. Building the foundation. Like, y'all parents try to teach you at the end of life and they want to check your phone and all of that. You should build the foundation of trust when they're younger. Like, you teach them how to count 1, 2, 3. Teach them this is what trust is, this is what respect is in the beginning when they're younger, and you wouldn't have to worry about that. And also having better communication skills with your child, because you expect them to do this perfect thing and do that perfect thing. You haven't even told them anything. Like, try to open up to them and tell them why this is important, and this is what I did in my past, and this is why I feel as though I need to check your phone. But don't check their phone. Like, take a step back. Like, say, hey, I feel as though, what's going on right now, all this trauma and all the baseline of everything that's going on, I need to check your phone. But I'm not, because I trust you, because I trust what you're doing is positive instead of negative. I trust that you're not doing these things out in this world, following these social, like the social media, like where you have to, like, I forgot, it's called a social dilemma, like on Netflix, where your mind is changing because of social media. Like, just building that foundation. And it's not always going to be easy. Yes, we get that. It's not always going to be easy. Of course, you're going to have like little hiccups, but don't check your child's phone. Okay. I promise you, like, sometimes it's okay to take a step back, because when they get grown and you keep trying to check their phone and taking their phone for days and days and days, they're going to get grown and not know what to do because they're so used to their phone being took. So, yes, building the foundation is key. Having that establishment of trust is very key. So, do that.
All right, guys, this has been a very powerful conversation. I know that you've helped me, and looking at our chat, you've helped a lot of people. So in closing, because we've got 3 minutes, I want each person to give a 30-second line of advice to any parent or young person on the conversation about how to communicate with your young person and respect their boundaries. Go ahead, Aubrey, you're first.
I would say just be open, be honest, talk about trauma or anything that you have been through, so that the cycle of hurting doesn't continue and everything can be broken. And also stop shutting your kids out. Listen to whatever they have to talk to you about, because most of the time they have faced some trauma that they're trying to communicate with you about, and you just keep shutting them out. So talk to your kids.
Cam?
Okay, honestly, I seen a lot of comments in the chat about parents saying that things are hard. Choose your hard. Like, do you want to, have it be like where you're overprotecting them now, and then later on in your life you're battling with building an actual bond with them, or you want to like, even though it's hard now being a parent, establishing that communication and trust so you don't have to deal with much as hard and focusing on the things that actually need to be focused on. Because if you can just make sure the foundation right, then it won't have to be too much difficulties in other areas. So choose your heart.
I love that. Choose your heart. Go on, Lamar.
Oh yeah. One thing I say is like, just like for your children, just remember that they still people at the end of the day. Like they still gotta learn. Like they still gotta fail in order for them to succeed. Like life is not always just gonna be about success. Like you can't make like you can't instill in them that they're always gonna be able to always like succeed. Like everything is not always going to be positive. They're going to have negative moments, but you got to remember in those negative moments, you got to be there to pick them up.
Great job. Taylor, what's up?
Adults and parents, please listen. Like I said before, follow that golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. Everyone, your kids, cousins, whatever. Take the young from young people, and you have people. We are still humans at the end of the day. We deserve the same respect that is given to you all. So please treat us how we treat you.
All right, Lene, you're responsible for the mic drop. Close us out.
Understand where everyone comes from. Understand your path. Understand your purpose. Understand your children's purpose. You don't know them very well as much as you think you do sometimes. So back up, take a breath, look around, and sit. Sometimes taking a seat and letting the child ride is okay. Okay, choose your purpose.
You guys have been amazing. I'm the luckiest old person in Baltimore today to get to hang out with these dope young people. Thank you so much for this awesome conversation. My 17-year-old just got some new liberties. Young Elder, back to you and Taylor to host this fabulous day.